You've taken a wrong turn down Creep Street.
Citizens of the Milky Way, this is Maureen Bogey.
And this is Dylan Hackworth.
And you are listening to the Creep Street podcast. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really quick up top, we just want to remind everyone that we are on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. Please check us out at Creep Street Pod, Creep Street Podcast. And our email address is creepstreetpodcast@gmail.com. Please feel free to reach out if any questions, suggestion, ideas at any time. Also, please rate, review, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your fam. Tell the peeps, spread the word. We want to get everyone on this Creep Street niche. So, okay, now that we got all that out of the way, I'm very excited to go down to South Africa way.
Today we are talking about the Tokoloshe.
Ooh.
This was suggested to us by Instagram user Nikki Ivy.
Thank you.
And fun fact, just for all our listeners, this is a South African legend. Cape Town, turns out, is our largest listener base outside of the United States.
Oh my God, it's so cool, so unexpected.
It's so cool. We're very excited about that. So thank you so much. I got to tell you, these Tokoloshe are mean little bastards.
Yeah.
They are mean, nasty little guys.
I didn't know I'd never heard of them before. We got the suggestion, and when I first heard it, I was like, oh, this guy sounds kind of cute. He sounds like Yoshi.
Yeah, it does.
But he's kind of a bastard.
They are evil little motherfuckers. Okay, just so everyone knows, my source today, I read The Terror of the Tokoloshe by S.D. Tucker. Are you ready to begin?
Yes.
Oh, and by the way, just so everyone knows, obviously, there's going to be a lot of names and locations in here. I'm going to do my best to pronounce, and I can tell you right now, I will fail. Yeah. Obviously, as we always say, it's not out of disrespect. It's just some of these are hard words for us to say.
We're from the Midwest of America.
Absolutely. And I even tried to use online descript. It shows you how to say things, and I still was struggling. So my deepest apologies.
But we will be coming to South Africa whenever we can.
We're coming to Cape Town, baby.
Because we got to fucking get in there.
We got to do a live show. Though the legend of the Tokoloshe has been around for who knows how long, one of the most popular modern sightings was in 1926 by a South African woman named Flora Nashonsi. It was a moonlit night. She was walking back to her parents' house in the Northern Cape province of DR. She said that suddenly from a distance, she saw a strange-looking object coming towards her. When she was finally able to make it out, she was stunned. This is what she saw.
He was short and fat, with a fur cape or animal skin around his shoulders. His eyes were like yellow, shining brightly and looking evil. He looked hard and very angrily at me, but otherwise took no notice. He was evidently going to something much more important and was in a great hurry. I shook with terror and watched him hurry up the street. I wondered if any evil would befall me or my people, but I think his thoughts were elsewhere, and he was too concerned with thinking about something else to worry about me.
At first glimpse, one might compare the Tokoloshe to the idea of trolls and goblins like we have here in the West. But Tokoloshe are widely believed in to this very day. And in the southern part of the African continent, primarily in South Africa, but it does stretch as far north as Zambia and Malawi. But the Tokoloshe, for many people in that region, is a very real fact of life. The Tokoloshe have an evil advantage over trolls and goblins, however.
Okay.
It's believed that by using a magic pebble that is either swallowed or held in their mouth, the Tokoloshe are able to become invisible. Often their activities are mistaken as poltergeist activity.
Oh, okay.
But rather than causing general mischief like we associate with poltergeists, the Tokoloshe are much more sinister.
Oh, no.
And just a little spoiler alert, there's going to be a lot of mention of rape. In this episode, we won't go into the nasty details, but just so you know, this is a large part of this story. And it is believed that while invisible, the Tokoloshe take advantage of this invisibility to rape women.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Very much like medieval European notion of succubus and incubus, this sort of demonic presence that sort of forces itself upon you sexually. But another unfortunate aspect is some of these victims would become pregnant. Oftentimes it's believed that when a woman gave birth to a baby that was either stillborn or disabled in some way, it was actually in disguise, Tokoloshe in disguise.
Oh my God.
This is often found in tabloids in the region. And it's common that women are charged with child abuse in court, and their defense is that they were not harming a human child, but a Tokoloshe.
Wait, really?
Yes, it's very. There's examples in the book of court cases of child abuse, and the mother adamantly believes that this is not a child, this is a demon.
Wow.
Impersonating a child.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
Very, very closely tied to our notion of a changeling.
I was just going to say that.
Right.
Wow,
This idea of fairies who take a healthy human child and replace it with a sort of an imposter.
It's like that movie.
A Hole in the Ground. It's that,
Yeah.
It was that Irish film we watched. Very good. But it was a very good film called The Hole in the Ground or A Hole in the Ground. Very good. Very good story about the whole concept of a changeling.
So this is like all over the world, you know? Like
Right.
the Tokoloshe specifically is
Right.
Southern Africa, but in South Africa. But yeah.
Right. And something unique, what the book goes out of its way to stress about the Tokoloshe is the Tokoloshe, it's one defined thing, but yet it's kind of a catch-all for most misfortune. Instead of just saying bad luck, it's the Tokoloshe. So when something bad befalls you, whether it's personal bodily harm or economic harm, it's often blamed upon these Tokoloshe.
Really very similar to a demon.
Exactly.
It
Very
really does
similar
sound like
to
a
a demon. Often Tokoloshe are considered to be fairies. They're commonly thought also, like we said with the fairies, the notion of a changeling.
Right, right.
But here's something interesting. They're also thought to be familiars, demonic servants of evil witches who do their bidding.
Oh my God.
As repayment, they are also the sex slaves of said witch.
Oh God.
Now, the notion of zombies also can be incorporated into Tokoloshe lore.
Okay, pop off, sir.
Now, while some believe that witches conjure a Tokoloshe, others believe they are created by the reanimated corpses of children. And some believe them to be a form of a skinwalker.
Oh,
some believe that the
okay.
Tokoloshe are the witches themselves that have transformed into the Tokoloshe. Let's just we talk a lot about witches on this show.
Yeah.
You know, we've talked a lot about skinwalkers, you know, with Skinwalker Ranch and how the Navajo notion of a skinwalker is an evil witch. Let's just state up front, not all witches are evil.
There's like 10,000 different types of witches.
Like everything else in life, there are a million different kinds of witches. It's just like there's evil painters and there's good painters. There's like anything. There's good people. There's bad people. I feel like when we're talking about witches in the context of the show, it's usually in a negative light. But I want to stress that is not the case. We will do episodes that are more focused on witches and witchcraft, and we'll also highlight the I think we even have a few witches that listen to our show.
Oh, for sure.
And
yeah.
God, we love that. There are many witches who are wonderful, wonderful people. Just wanted to stress that.
In this context is more like those spooky, scary witches.
Exactly. Some also believe that the Tokoloshe is a cryptid, a flesh and blood animal that is yet to be discovered, the way one might say like even though there's many ideas of what Bigfoot is, but like Bigfoot or a Jersey Devil or a Loch Ness Monster. Yeah. Now, the author stresses that while we compare the Tokoloshe to many existing folklore, the Tokoloshe changes from person to person, and that might actually be the point of the Tokoloshe.
Yeah.
It is the embodiment of your fear and your misfortune.
That's like what makes it so scary.
We'll get into this later, but we'll come back to that idea we've talked about of the tulpa.
Yes,
Because I want to get back to that. For children in the region, the Tokoloshe is often seen as something as an evil authority figure, meaning often the Tokoloshe tells children to say nothing or that he will punish them. So, like, don't tell your parents.
Oh, God.
Very predatorial.
Yeah.
This is something you're going to notice about these Tokoloshe. First of all, let's just get one thing clear. The main MO of these bastards is rape. Let's just get one thing clear.
Right.
And the book I read was riddled with just horrifying examples of stories of rape, mostly on women, but also men, and also quite frequently on children.
Jesus Christ.
I'm obviously, for the we don't need to talk about the sick stuff, but yeah, it's a very predatory creature.
Yeah. Just in case any kids are listening, if anyone ever tells you that you can't tell your parents something, you should probably tell your parents that thing.
Yeah.
Just letting you know, just a little update.
Exactly.
For the squad.
So let's get deeper into the look of the Tokoloshe. Well, the first thing you would probably notice about the Tokoloshe, if you were to see one, is its massive rockin' cock.
Okay.
These cocks
Oh, no.
are so big. It's said that the Tokoloshe have to walk around with them tossed over their shoulder so it doesn't weigh them down or trip them up.
Whoa.
However, the Tokoloshe is said to cover up those massive, massive cocks
Oh.
in a sheepskin to protect them.
Like little loincloth
I
or
would
like a sheep?
assume, but if it's over your shoulder, I mean, goddamn,
Good Lord.
Also, these Tokoloshe dicks are not just for show.
Oh, God.
They're not just party tricks.
Right. Like most dicks are.
They are excellent tools.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about it.
Well,
What do they
depending
do?
on how they're being used.
Right.
For example, often it's believed that those big old Tokoloshe cocks can be used to open doors.
Oh, well, that's kind of nice.
And here's the best one. It can apparently even be used as a periscope to keep a lookout for enemies.
Okay, that's a trick.
That's not a trick. Apparently, a Tokoloshe can use its dick as a periscope, like a submarine.
I can guarantee you that Tokoloshes say that it can be a periscope so that they can put their dick in your eye. That really just sounds like some frat boy trick that the Tokoloshe would say.
And it's even said that that the Tokoloshe can use this fat wang to burrow underground.
Oh my God, use your fat wang and get shelter.
Here's a fun fact. Many women in South Africa will elevate their beds with bricks to keep out of the reach of the Tokoloshe's cock. In fact, Nikki Ivy, who requested this episode, said a family acquaintance of hers used to actually keep her bed elevated on bricks.
Yeah.
So this is like a modern, I mean, people are still adhering to this, this idea. Now, one might assume by this description that all Tokoloshe are male. Well, while many Tokoloshe are male, on very rare occasion, it is said that you can spot a female Tokoloshe.
Okay.
Unlike their male counterparts, however, who have the big old massive dicks,
Okay, let's hear it.
female Tokoloshe have just a sweet set of massive hairy tits.
I knew it. I knew it.
Big old hairy tits.
Big old fat hairy knockers.
Just
okay.
fat hairy knockers.
Okay. Can their titties do?
I would assume they have unique ways of utilizing those tits.
Because that would be just a pain in the ass. If
Well,
the
first
dude,
of all, airbag.
I guess that's true. But are they in the car very often?
Well,
is
you're
my
probably
question.
right. They're probably not allowed to drive.
But the men.
Well, you probably can't see over the damn steering
Right.
wheel. It's like, say he spills some coffee, he can oh shit,
Right.
his wang can take the wheel,
take over.
and he can wrestle that baby back onto the
But
road.
like, can the titties do the same? Like, I would love
titties
it.
might be. I mean, if they are sentient titties, if the Tokoloshe has enough control over her bosom, I could see how it could be useful.
I just would love if their ample bosoms could be used to be a periscope. That's all I want.
And of course, not all Tokoloshe victims are female. There have been stories of male Tokoloshe sexually harming both men and boys. A man in 2009 claimed he was sexually assaulted repeatedly by a Tokoloshe. And as we know, they're very ugly, right? So a common Tokoloshe repellent is hanging mirrors around the room, and it's said if they see their face, it'll scare them the hell away.
Oh, okay.
Obviously not exactly like a vampire, because the whole thing of a vampire is they don't have a reflection.
Right.
But I'm seeing a lot of borrowed
Using
iconography from other legends.
Yeah.
I'm seeing with the mirror thing, the whole thing about not liking mirrors.
Yeah.
And they're said to be, of course, little hairy guys, less than a meter high. Occasionally, they're described as having a ridge on their head, which enables them to kill cattle with a headbutt. So they're small little creatures, less than a meter tall, hairy with big old dicks. Sometimes they're described as being old men. Sometimes they're described as missing a limb, be it an arm or a leg or even a single buttock.
Oh, wow. Well, good thing they got those fat dicks.
And sometimes they're even described as like teddy bears.
Oh, okay. So how am I supposed to feel? I'm frustrated.
Exactly. Now, sometimes they are described as being muscular with disproportionate limbs, and that in their right hand they carry a stick as a weapon. And some even mention little horns. This is a very common thing. When Christian settlers would come in, they would take certain things they would essentially modify the cultures of a town. Sometimes if they didn't just outright destroy it, they would find a way of melding it so it worked more. By adding horns, they are now able to paint it as what we think of as a demonic entity. You see a lot of this. I mean, that was the biggest goal when Caesar came to Gaul, to ancient Britain, when the Celts were there. I mean, Cernunnos, if you were to see the pagan god Cernunnos, if you didn't know anything about the religion, you would think, oh, well, that's the devil.
Right.
It's not. And I think maybe that's what's happening here.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a way to slowly get the people assimilated. Similarly, way back in the day, similarly, the Roman and but they came in and they were like, oh, hey, Christmas time. Let's kind of put that with Yule, because it's like kind of similar stuff.
Exactly.
You guys are already doing Yule, so we'll just add Christmas on there. And things stick around.
Well, and what I see also when I hear this description, I think of Pan. I think of the god Pan, this little trickster with the... But sometimes, as we know, descriptions are totally different. In March of 2012, reports of Tokoloshe on a farm described them as being unnaturally large monitor lizards.
Oh, God.
It also must be stated that sightings of the Tokoloshe by white folks is very rare.
Oh, interesting.
In 1921, a European woman by the name of Phyllis Beard described the creature, but notice in her voice, very dismissive of the Tokoloshe, very tongue-in-cheek. But this is what she said about the Tokoloshe.
Mr. Tokoloshe is an imp from Hades, barely 30 inches in height. He has a head the size of a large pumpkin, a whiff of a nose, small snake-like eyes, hands like the claws of a vulture, with the hairy nether limbs and the feet of a goat. In fact, he would have resembled old Lucifer to a T. The owl is the most intimate friend who is supposed to announce the coming of his terrible majesty by doleful hoots and shrieks.
Notice how she describes the Tokoloshe. Very much this Christianized bastardization of the Tokoloshe.
Yeah, damn.
So, in addition to the notion of being shapeshifters, some say the Tokoloshe are able to shapeshift into a beautiful man.
Oh.
And that is how they are able to lure women into bed.
More predator shit.
Predator shit. And it's said that if another man walks in on them, he only sees the Tokoloshe as a Tokoloshe. He doesn't see the beautiful man.
Yeah, she's like, hey, this guy's like, great.
Exactly.
But the other guy's like, no, that's a Tokoloshe. And she's like, this is like a really like hot guy.
Sometimes they are even described as manifesting as light orbs, like little balls of light.
All of this stuff is connected, guys.
All connected.
It's all connected. That was in Skinwalker. That was in Perrin Family. I mean, and even some of this stuff is really reminding me of some of the ritual games.
Oh, yeah. Now, if one ever sees a Tokoloshe, don't even acknowledge it. To look at it and point at it will anger it and make it want to exact its revenge. It's often maintained that it is absolutely impossible to make eye contact with the Tokoloshe if you're an adult.
Oh.
Eye contact is reserved for children, who the Tokoloshe wins over with sweets and with playing, and by playing with them.
More fucked up predator shit.
And you know how kids sometimes have invisible friends.
Right.
For believers in the Tokoloshe, these imaginary friends are very much frowned upon because of the chance it could be an invisible Tokoloshe.
Oh, God, yeah, that is scary.
Much like fairies and the notion of tulpas, people often refer to the Tokoloshe by another name because they believe that by referencing its real name, Tokoloshe, it draws their attention, much like Slender Man.
Right.
Which brings me back to the notion of a tulpa. If you focus so much belief into one thing, can it manifest itself? And I know people think, well, what about Santa Claus? Why doesn't it happen to Santa Claus? Maybe it's something to do with negative beliefs. Maybe we put more belief into things we're scared of, into things we want to be real.
Yeah.
Maybe we believe more in Tokoloshe than Santa because whether Santa's real or not, it's not going to hurt us.
Right.
Tokoloshe, if they're real or not, are going to fuck up your day.
Right. And that's like a lot of people think that other demons or negative energy, ghosts in general, they feed off of people's fear. Apparently, the energy of fear is the strongest nutrient-rich energy, I guess. That's what, maybe if we all just started to be afraid of Santa Claus, he would show up, but then Santa Claus would be fucked up. But then he would be an evil motherfucker, right. He'd be fucked up. Yeah, so...
Where did the Tokoloshe come from?
Let's talk about it.
This can change depending on where you live. For believers in more rural areas, it's commonly believed that the Tokoloshe are a form of water sprite, or at least have some connection to water, and they're often believed to live in bodies of water. For people living in urban environments, Tokoloshe are more so believed to live in the houses of the witches that they serve. The Tokoloshe, though, was originally a river deity of the Xhosa people in what is now South Africa's Eastern Cape Province. There is an old folk tale from Zimbabwe that tells of a beautiful maiden. She was the daughter of a tribal chief who was desired by this Tokoloshe water god. One day when she was at the stream, she refused the advances of the Tokoloshe, and she wore on her arm 9 metal bangles in order to symbolize her already existing commitment to a human lover. Well, the Tokoloshe got so mad that when the next girl came to the stream, he tore her arm off and threw it in the stream.
Good Lord.
In 1893, near a river in what is now the Eastern Cape Province, a district surgeon by the name of H.B. Mounsell was dispatched with a team by the British government to investigate some strange happenings that were reported to be going on at a farm in South Africa, right there in the Eastern Cape Province, or what is now the Eastern Cape Province. Reports were that stones were being thrown from some invisible force at folks working and living on the farm.
Whoa.
And it all started when a 15-year-old girl who was living at the farm went down to the nearby stream to bring back some drinking water for her and her family. When she laid down to grab a drink from the stream herself, she spotted what she described as a little old man lurking beneath the water. The girl screamed and ran away, only to be chased by the Tokoloshe. When she got home, she fainted, passed out in distress. When she came to, she apparently began vomiting up strange substances like iguana bones and skeletal dog toes. That's the other thing. The Tokoloshe, if they aren't there to rape you, they're there to eat your fucking toes. They love
eating toes?
They love eating toes.
Good God.
And also hairs from the dog's tail were in her vomit. Also little gray hairs, seemingly from the Tokoloshe.
That's so gross.
She was vomiting up, and little white pebbles that were found only in the stream. And then after that, poltergeist activity began. At night, unseen forces would pull her bed covers off her and throw them across the room. Even more dangerously, rocks began falling unexpectedly from the ceiling, sometimes small, sometimes they were as large as a person's fist.
Wow.
When the roof was examined, there was no sign of holes in the roof. It was learned, though, that the girl was treated by a witch doctor just days before, and it was generally accepted that this witch doctor had placed the curse of the Tokoloshe upon them.
Oh, no.
So I want to briefly just talk, before we wrap up, about another South African legend.
Oh, yeah.
Also very scary. This is the story of Pinky Pinky, and this is going to be very brief, but let's notice some similarities here.
Yeah, let's do it.
A Pinky Pinky is another very prominent urban legend in the region. Pinky Pinky is said to be an evil entity that lives in women's public restrooms.
Oh, God.
Primarily in girls' school, like public schools, like in the girls'
Christ.
restroom of public schools.
No.
It's said that the entity can hear the sound of the girl's footsteps as she approaches the restroom. Once seated, the girl is threatened to hand over any item she may have on her that is pink, including pink underpants.
Oh, my God. I literally feel like I'm going to throw up.
And if the girl refuses, she is brutally harmed or even killed.
Oh, my God.
So between the Tokoloshe, Pinky Pinky, not an easy life for a woman there, I would say, in terms of the lore.
Oh, God, that's so scary. I worry so much about sitting on a toilet that some sort of spider or snake.
Or shit, we've all seen Lethal Weapon.
And like you think it's going to get up in your biz.
Yeah.
And this is kind of really playing on that just like fear. And
Ugh.
I hate that.
Yeah, disgusting.
This really scares me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tokoloshes are little bastards.
They are.
The Tokoloshe, Pinky Pinkies, they're little motherfuckers. Don't even give them the time of day.
Don't
even give them the time of day if you cross one of these little motherfuckers.
I gotta say, I'm still so excited to one day go to South Africa. But am I scared?
So
I am.
I am so excited. We will definitely do a live show in South Africa. Nikki Ivy, thank you so much for requesting this. And here's the other thing, and in the book even makes a great point of putting it outside of the region, people don't really know what the Tokoloshe is.
I had never, ever heard of it.
It's very focused to that region, and specifically South Africa. Not even all, it's very specific to that region. So once again, thank you to Nikki Ivy for requesting the Tokoloshe.
Thank you. This was so informative. I'm
Creepy
so glad we
little
did
bastards,
this.
huh?
Oh my God.
Perverts,
yeah.
little pervs.
Not a fan, but glad to know their deal.
Absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to wrap it up. My name is Dylan Hackworth.
I'm Maureen Bogey.
And this is Creep Street. Citizens of the Milky Way, good night and goodbye.
Sleep on bricks, baby.